what are those tools which will enable us to do so? So let me now share my PPT. What are those tools which will enable Let me now share my PPT. What are those tools which will enable Can all
Let
of
me now
you
share
see the
my
screen?
PPT. What are those tools which will enable?
Can all
Let me
of
now
you
share
see the
my
screen?
PPT. What are those tools which will enable?
All right. Can all
Let me
of
now
you
share
see
my
the screen?
PPT.
As you see,
What are those
we
tools
started
which will
this
enable?
session
All
talking
right.
about technology gap in
Let me
India.
now share my
Now, as
PPT.
you see,
What are those
we
tools
started
which will
this
enable?
session talking about
Technology
the
gap in.
requirement
Let
of
me now share
technology.
my
Now,
PPT.
as you see,
What are those
we
tools
started
which will
this
enable?
session talking
Technology
the
gap in.
requirement,
Let me now.
talking about the generation which is referred to as Gen Z, and maybe followed by Gen Alpha, which will soon come into our college education, right? So we need to come out with those kind of strategies which are going to do some future proofing of our style of teaching for the Gen Z. So let's understand this Gen Z little more, right? So a very great leading voice in educational reform, Sir Ken Robinson. Maybe you can search him more on YouTube and see the kind of work he has done for education reform and delivered the education talks. So he comes out with that very fantastic statement that all of us are recognizing the fact, we have to recognize the fact that the world is changing faster than ever before. And when the world is changing at that faster pace, obviously our education systems have to adapt to meet these challenges of the changing world, right? So can we catch up with these fast changes happening across? Right. So, what is this Gen Z? All of you would have noticed around you, starting from our own homes. Then, when we go to college to teach, when we see the students around us sitting in the campus or moving around in the campus, the way they interact with us in the classroom, they are a very different kind of generation than what we used to be, right? For us, the direction was more given by our parents, uh, the way our teachers taught us. We were pretty unidirectional in our approach. But then are we the kind of generation, right? So this generation which we are dealing with is very diverse. Now, when I say that, no more a plain blackboard or whiteboard with a chalk or with a marker, would do that justice to their learning, right? And why these people have emerged in such a different way, all of us, I think, know the answer to that. So if you want to know more about the Gen Z characteristics, please, I have shared a link here also, and you can exactly understand that what this Gen Z generation is. Though I've tried to put it in a little, technological manner, control, alt, create. They are most of the time on the laptops, on the phones, and searching and researching about, the information around them, right? So, in fact, say that Gen Z is the first digital natives, and they have grown up immersed in technology, right? Today, a 3 year, a 4 year old knows how to operate a smart TV, knows how to operate the remote, snatches the phone from their parents' hands, and they start searching all those reels on YouTube. They exactly know what to, which key to press to get their demanded video. So, see the kind of upbringing which is happening for the generation, right? So, though there is a little harsh term used calling it as a tech saturated upbringing, but then see the kind of change which is happening in the learning here, right? When they're watching so much of screen, right? And they are receiving so much of information, what are they becoming? They're becoming more of a visual learners, very comfortable in operating the screen. You ask them to write today, they will have a tough time in writing. It does not interest them anymore. You have to force them to make them sit and write. And if it comes to learning the spellings and the tables, I'm sure many of you would agree it is a challenging thing to do so, right? Because moment you speak to Alexa, Alexa gives you answer to everything. Right. So I feel that it is very important for us to understand these very unique characteristics, of this generation, and how is that we align ourselves to effectively engage them in the learning environment, or are we able to give them that learning environment which would engage them more and more, right? Because screen is able to keep them engaged by giving them that bite size kind of content. No more they are the people who are willing to watch a 3 hours a very monotonous kind of movie. So as all of you are aware, the research says that there is hardly a the attention span is reducing to almost 20 seconds. That's the kind of research studies which are coming out, right? So the Gen Z cohort, when we talk about, are they different? Are they not capable of learning? I think we are very wrong in our thinking that way, right? In fact, this Gen Z cohort is aspirational, they are collaborative, and they are purpose driven. So when I say that, why do I say that? Because remember in our resumes then and now also I see students putting that word tech savvy, right? They are no more a tech savvy generation. They are a tech integrated generation. They are so much immersed in this technology learning. They are constantly connected to each other. They are collaborating when they are working, right? My college going daughter, when I see the way she works, she is a member of the publication group in the college, right? And then they have to work on their newsletters, articles, then editing them, then publishing them. So, after finishing college, they sit on their own laptops, and instead of conversing, face to face, they are all just doing the collaborative work using something as simple as Google Docs, right? So, see, they are collaborative in their approach. They're able to work as a team, but that is happening through the screens, right? So, yes, tech integrated generation. And another important characteristics which I think all of you will agree with me now, they are visually engaged learners. So visual learning preference is crucial. And how is that now we can integrate in our teaching more and more images, videos, creating more visually appealing presentation? I think that is a key. And I'm sure many of you would have already experimented with that and found that that is what is making our classes more engaging, I would say, right? Now, second thing, if you see now, in the era where I don't have to place any order as a group for my family. Everybody has access to all the apps in their mobile. You need anything, everything is instantly delivered to you, right? So when I'm saying this, what I'm saying, there is an instant gratification kind of philosophy, ready to starting from ready to eat, ready to share, ready to communicate. That's the kind of era we are into now. This Gen Z is demanding attention. So in fact the concept is attention on demand. As and when they need, they are getting attention from something which is internet, for something through the screens, right? So as an educator, it becomes very important for us to understand this expectation of Gen Z, that they are demanding our attention, attention, short notices, and for us to somewhere try to be available for that attention and demand is very, very crucial. So how do we make this happen? How do we make our content so interactive, so small, a bite size, readily accessible to them, gamifying it a bit, that it is possible to fulfill their attention on demand concept? And I feel this can be vice versa also. We as a teachers can also try this concept of attention on demand from Gen Z. Let's see how we'll be able to do that, right? So connectedness, collaborativeness is another nature, which is a very good thing, very good characteristic to have. This used to be a challenge before. This is something which is a blessing now using the technology, right? So already they are involved into the more community. In fact, when I discuss with the industry stalwarts, right, uh, everybody says, communities are the future, and we are seeing it happening, isn't it? That you bring the communities with a similar kind of characteristics, and people are interacting there, people are collaborating on work there, and that is what gives them a lot of satisfaction, right? So we also see, when I was going through this report, I could also see that Gen Z's nature is a value driven nature, and they constantly keep seeking for it, right? So if today many of us as a parent or teacher not able to somewhere answer their queries in a logical rational manner, right, they immediately shift and start searching, right? And that is where you see there's a more and more dependency on the internet, on the Google, and also on the chat GPT, right? Because I'm sure as a parent also I'm not able to give a lot of logical answers to many of the questions that my child has asked to me, right? And not every time all of us can give answers to all these questions. But what is this generation looking at? This generation is looking at uh, value driven answers. So So, what is going to be our weapon here now? When we are dealing with this Gen Z, who is so demanding, who is so smart, who is so value driven, who is so collaborative, right? Uh, we need to unlock our style, our strategies in such a manner that it is able to match and exceed this attention on demand philosophy of the this group of learners, right? So then what do we come to, right? What are we talking about here, right? So can we gain their attention by making our content more interactive, more multimedia based, which I'm sure most of us have already started doing. That's the first thing. But the second point here comes, are we able to give them that environment which is enhancing the collaboration? Right. So, what do we do for that? We were doing certain activities. We say we are doing project based activities. We say we are doing some role based kind of learning in the class where we give a scenario to the student and then they act on it, finding the solutions to the problems. But can we engage them, can we add the engagement via the technology, right? And this is where many of you would have already using or started using, called as business simulations, right? And this is what in business schools we call this business simulation, where they are able to interact with a lot of real time scenarios, and their answers changes the scenario. Then again they have to deal with a challenging situation. They also see that another team also taking action onto it, right? So can we create that kind of excitement in learning via this collaborative environment? The third thing which I have seen a lot of edtech firms doing is personalizing the education more and more, right? And when I say that, it starts from a very simple thing like that, the way you attempt your any assessment the very first time, right? AI will gauge that at what level of understanding you are, and accordingly tweak in the entire learning pattern for you, right? This starts from many English learning tools, the language learning tools, to the aptitude enhancement tools, and so on, right? Where does this generation want all the content to be available? I remember when I used to walk through my college stairs to reach my department, and if this it is an exam day or a test day, I'll see most of the students sitting on the stairs, right, learning from their mobiles. Gone are the days where we used to take printouts or we used to make notes and then refer them at the end moment just before the exam, right? I see everybody scrolling through the mobile, so that's a kind of learning they're engaging into. So gamification is becoming a must. Better engagement tools with the help of technology have become the must. And what is the integral part of this everything? How would we be able to develop this strategy or improvise on that? Our insights would also be based upon the the data and taking the help of AI to somewhere bring all this on the platter to create an engaging learning environment, right? So that is where the interactive engaging concepts comes to the picture, right? I have these two videos for you to look into. Let me see if I can play them for you. Can you see my screen? Can you see the YouTube video here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you want to create a WordPress website, you will definitely need to check out Hostinger. Whether you are a total beginner or
Sorry.
In the last chapter, you and I started to step through the internal work. If
Are
you
you
feed a
able to
large language
hear
model
the
the phrase, Michael Jordan plays the sport of
I'm sorry, I
blank,
think
and you have it predict what comes next, and it correctly predicts
Just a minute,
basketball. In the last chapter, you and I started to step.
Okay, can you just tell me if you're able to hear the audio?
Hi.
Hello?
The initials GPT.
I need to check the chat maybe to understand if you're able to hear the audio of this YouTube video.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me play it for you. Just pay some attention and let's see, what is it for us.
E stand for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So that first word is straightforward enough. These are bots that generate new text. Pre-trained refers to how the model went through a process of learning from a massive amount of data, and the prefix insinuates that there's more room to fine-tune it on specific tasks with additional training. But the last word, that's the real key piece. A transformer is a specific kind of neural network.
Okay, so this gives you a bit of idea into the chat GPT, but that is not what I wanted to show you. Give me a moment. I'm just copy this link from my slide.
What is Hitler plus Italy minus Germany?
Yeah. So let me share it now. I hope you can see the screen.
ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ನಿಂದ ಏನೇ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್.
ಬರೀ ನನ್ನದಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇತರ 3,000 ಜನರ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್. ಹೌದು ಡಾಲಿಜಿ.
Okay. Able to skip it.
ಲಾ 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 ಲಾ.
Amazon ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಂಕೇತದ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ
This one here.
The initials GPT stand for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So that first word is straightforward enough. These are bots that generate new text. Pre-trained refers to how the model went through a process of learning from a massive amount of data, and the prefix insinuates that there's more room to fine-tune it on specific tasks with additional training. But the last word, that's the real key piece. A transformer is a specific kind of neural network, a machine learning model, and it's the core invention underlying.
Okay. Fine. So I was just trying to show a video which I was not able to show right now for letting you know that how there are a lot of such content available which can be used to engage the students. This it is already in place. We as a facilitator just used to find that content or create the content with the help of new tools which are emerging and engage the student. Okay, fine. So similarly, now we are talking about learning together, learning kind of concept, right? By using Google Docs, by using Miro, Teams, right? Kahoot for engagement, and a lot of AI powered platforms which are available for us to make this learning more and more personalized, right? So I'm showing you a lot of tools here. If you notice, maybe after the sessions are over, you can always do some research and see which are the which may suit you to take them to your classroom and make the learning, I'll say, more interesting and engaging. Because concept is simple, one size does not fit all, right? So we have to see both the aspects, that we as a teacher, what we can adapt to, and at the same time what will make this learning more valuable, useful for our students, right? And today, if you'll also look into the companies like Khan Academy, who have further personalized their content with the help of AI, and you see Duolingo, right? So when I was doing some research on that, when a student has to go abroad, right? IELTS and TOEFL were the two exams that everybody was talking about, but Duolingo has made this language learning, any language learning for that matter, so interesting, easy, accessible, at such a low cost, that now people asking us that why can we take Duolingo test and not the IELTS and TOEFL. So that shows that how tailoring it to individualizing, personalizing the learning to an individual is gaining the momentum, and that is what every individual is looking at, right? We as a teacher, when we address a class of 60 or even more people, is it possible for us to do that technically? No, it is not possible, right? So what is that will help us do it? These AI enabled tools are already there, and they are going to help us to make our learning more customized and more personalized. Another concept, gamification. Yes, everybody is talking about it. So, can we turn our lessons into challenges? Possible. So, this reminds me of one conversation that I had with the founder director of IIM Bangalore. Right, what he was saying, that in our times, we used to get the case study somewhere at midnight or at 2 a.m. in the morning, and then our class starts at 10 or 12 the next day. And we have to go through that entire case study of those 32 pages and present the solutions to the professor, discuss it with the professor in the class, right? So can you see the learning was challenged by the professors in the classroom? Can we do the similar thing, but by integrating the smart tool of AI, right? Which can be in form of interactive quizzes, simulations, or any kind of role playing, which today even Chat GPT can help you with. So I come across some very nice tool which is right now more applicable for schools, but then they are working to make it accessible for the college content also. So I tell you what this tool does. So every day we pick up a topic, right? We go to the class, we teach the students that topic, and what do we try to do? That during the session, during when we're discussing the topic in the class, can we ask certain questions just to check whether the student is learning or not? That is one way. Second way, we finish the topic, keep some 5-10 minutes in the end, and then ask the questions to the students again to understand whether the student has learned or not. But tell me, very honestly, how many students answer our questions? How many hands will go up and say, I'm ready to answer? Or how many can we pick up and say, hey, you answer, right? We have limitation on time, we have limitation on student willingness to come forward and answer, right? So that is what the problem this tool has solved. So what it does, you go to class, you cover the topic. After the topic is over, you keep some 10 minutes of the class, and On the spot, you go, you open this particular portal, and you show a quiz around the topic to the students. Now, what students are having? All these students are having these, clickers in their hands, remote. Now, what is that you can relate this to? If you see, if you have noticed why Kaun Banega Crorepati becomes so interesting for people, because moment Amitabh Bachchan puts a question on the screen, within few seconds you see answers coming from audience. So, what all you are able to notice? You're able to notice how many people gave the right answer. Then you're able to figure out who is the fastest finger, right? Who did it fast, and you're able to also see each one of them how much time did they take to answer. Now imagine if you have this kind of data available to you immediately after you finishing the topic. When you have this data accessible to you within 10 minutes of completing your topic, you exactly know how is it my student has learned today. And do you think student will hesitate to press that key on the remote to give the answers? They will not, right? Because they are not being pinpointed publicly in the class, right? They have answered which is only known to you, not to their other friends as well, right? So see how the learning is becoming personalized, and I can see the entire data, that out of all the 10 questions I asked, which few questions the least number of students answered correctly, which lets me know that this part of my lecture was not understood, or I need to revise this in the class again, right? So I think today, being a teachers who are handling Gen Z and going to handle Gen Alpha, we need these kind of tools in our hands. Instead of going through the entire set of question papers, correcting them, taking time to correct it, and then coming out with analysis, again feed the data in the Excel, and then put the filter, and then see what's happening. Or even if you use any of the LMS, you still taking a lot of time to do it, right? So can we be enabled by the institutions or by the free tools available to make our learning so interesting, right? With 100% engagement, if you use this kind of tool, let me tell you, there'll be 100% engagement, irrespective of only 30% which you see in a manual mode, right? And you will have assessments in front of you, giving you insights on the daily basis about the topics that you are covering in the class. So I thought I'll share this example with you. I hope I'm doing well in terms of time. Please let me know if I've exceeded the time. I'm almost towards the close of my session. So similarly, we have many such tools coming in the market. I think it's time for us to start adapting them more and more. Whether you talk about a tool for lesson planning and content generation, we have it available. Whether you talk about the visual content creation, today you ask a student to design a poster, they directly go to Canva. Design a video, they go to Canva. Design a presentation, they go to Canva. In fact, the presentation that we're seeing today in front of you is also designed on Canva. Right. Similarly, there are a lot of interactive learning and assessment tools. So I have given quite a list here, throughout the session, if you would have observed, if you had made a note of, well and good, but see what suits you and your students and accordingly use them, right? For a lot of research writing, we're anyways using Grammarly, Quillbot, or many such similar tools. Similarly, to create the engaging videos, to find the engaging videos, we again have more and more tools in our hand, right? So we need to now get into this ocean of AI-enabled tools, see what is suiting us and what is meant for our students for highly engaging, creative, value-driven learning, and start using them in our classroom. So before I move on to my last slide, something which I wanted to show you, and I'm sure in this video, you will not find any kind of problem. So before closing my session, some 2, 3 examples I wanted to discuss with you. But before that, let's see if we can see this video. Uh, yeah, just give me a moment. Arizona State University. Okay. So for set of their students from science background, they have done something really little different, which all of us are aware of. Let's see, let me just play the video for you. I'll share the screen now. I hope the video will be visible. Audio will also be audible to you. In case not, please text or unmute yourself and let me know. I'm starting to play it now.
One of the biggest presenting problems in higher education in the 21st century is student disengagement. A sense of wonder, a sense of curiosity, all of those moods are things that set the occasion for student learning. And not just for student learning, but for persistence. If you're in a place that allows you to be engaged, or a place that invites you into engagement, you're more likely to stay, to persist, to retain, and in the case of a university, to graduate, earn a degree.
Too often, we actually force students to learn things that really isn't going to be useful to them once they get out from undergraduate education. So most of the stuff that I learned that I find useful, I learned on a job trying to perform a specific task or solve a specific problem. So how do we solve that problem? One way to solve that problem is to rethink how we educate people and to focus less on specific details and more on process. Do I know what to do with that knowledge? Do I know how to vet that knowledge to determine whether it's accurate? What virtual reality and Dreamscape Learn in particular helps us do is it helps us to put students through experiences that enable them to practice those skills. So they can engage in just about any experience anywhere in the world because it's a virtual world. It gives us the freedom to design all kinds of highly relevant, novel problems for students to encounter, analyze, and solve on their own. So there's a body of literature that already shows that virtual reality experiences enhance retention and also can prepare a student to perform a task. We've seen about a letter grade learning gain in a single day when students would take a series of VR experience interspersed with lessons and activities in the topic of ecology.
It was pretty shocking. I went in expecting something cool, but what I got was a lot more than that. It was dope, seeing everything around me.
I thought it was super interesting. It was really immersive, really exciting. It really felt like we were there, and there was just so much to look at.
I actually really enjoyed it. I'm more of a hands-on learner, so this simulation really helped me retain most of the information, and it really felt like there was a true scientist in there.
It's hard to say what the future of Dreamscape Learn will look like because we've built such a great platform for immersive and experiential learning. We have the ability to deliver any type of experience to our students. We essentially have a portal that can take students anywhere to learn anything. And when you think about it that way, I think the better question might be, what will Dreamscape Learn look like in the future? Because anything is really possible. This isn't the cutting edge. This is the bleeding edge of technology.
So I hope you're able to see and hear that video. Yes, so what is it Arizona State University has done, right? They have made their learning immersive, right? And this is a company by name Dreamscape with which they have worked and have given that feeling of being immersed in learning, where student is able to see, feel, do some changes in the entire scenario. I remember, one of my friend who was doing her PhD in Norway, and she, being a science student, she was researching on, some DNA kind of thing in lizards I'm talking about, right? And all of us are so scared of lizards the moment we see on the wall, right? So she was mentioning that, Sheelan, when I used to do research on lizards, the lizards used to be all over around me. They will jump and they will crawl over my body, right? So see, how do you feel now? Can you that kind of so this is a kind of immersive where you're experiencing, how the lizard walks and how does it feel, when they are in your hand, they are on your body. So, can similar kind of immersive learning be created with the help of technology? And it is happening. It is very much possible, right? And how much kids enjoy this kind of learning when you give them these AR, VR visuals put on their eyes, and they are just totally, quiet and so observed into that entire learning environment. So this is one way of doing things. Similarly, if you look at Stanford, Stanford has come out with something called as open loop. If you've heard of. Now, what do they do in open loop? See, we have always made our learning very systematic, that at certain age you should be learning certain things. If you have chosen a certain specialization, you would just move on and do, in-depth analysis into it. Foreign education wasn't like that, right? So Stanford is experimented that, okay, you can finish that 1 year of learning, go to the industry, learn how the entire professional world is working, come back and relearn with us. We will give you those extra 6 years of learning with us. So you being a professional, able to understand, appreciate the concepts that you are learning in the class. And not only that, professors have gone further with the help of such people who have worked in the alumni, I should say, alumni who have worked in the industry and come back to the campus for learning. With their help, they are co-creating the courses, right? So so are we open for this kind of learning environment? Can we start institutionalizing this kind of learning in our education system? And third thing, as a teacher, so there's a lot of hue and cry that you need to learn, BI, Tableau, these kind of tools, which is actually the very right tools to learn. But then how many of us as a teacher are putting that effort to learn these tools, bring them to class, create such dashboards for the students that when students are changing the variables or giving input of a new variable, they can see that entire dashboard is changing, right? So I think that's a kind of demand which this Gen Z is creating, is asking us to adapt, to channelize their learning styles. And I think we as educators is our responsibility to do that. So, given this, I think I've come to the close of my session. And thanks to all of you for being such a wonderful audience, listening to me patiently. And I hope you're able to pick few points from the session. If that is the case, then I'm very, very happy addressing all of you today. So thank you to the institution. Thank you to Dr. Chandramurthy sir and the entire team for giving me this opportunity to interact with you all today. Thank you.
Forum is open for you participants. If you want to ask any question, queries, you can ask.
I think I see a faculty F1B vocational. If before I get any question, I just want to say this, that though government focuses also a lot there on all the skill development programs as well as the vocational programs, I think there is a great future in such programs, and we should encourage students also to opt for these courses to become better at their preferred skilling.
Yes, madam. It's very much true that we are in AI era. As a teacher, Gen Z technology is more configured. So teachers' role in designing students for the future is very difficult unless and until we get configured with the technology, that is AI tools also. And Bangalore is called the capital of IT capital. Yesterday and day before yesterday, I saw in the newspaper. We feel proud to be in Bangalore, and also we will adopt the new technology to reach students, madam. Thank you very much. Really a knowledgeable session, ma'am.
Thank you
Now,
so much, Mamta.
now time to express our gratitude to our guest as well as the attendee participants. Let us call our respected principal, Dr. Shilpa V, to propose vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege and honor to extend the vote of thanks on the significant occasion of our webinar on technology gap between teaching and learning. First and foremost, I express my gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. SHEELAN MISHRA, founder and CEO of Unithink Education International, for sharing invaluable insights on the challenges and opportunities in bridging the technology gap in education. Thank you very much, ma'am. Your expertise and thought-provoking perspectives have truly enlightened us and will serve as a guiding light in our journey towards a more effective and technologically integrated environment. A special thanks to our Chief Patron, Srimati Rashmi Ravikiran ma'am, Chairperson Sir C.R. Tejas Kiran sir, and Dr. Murli Shankar sir, our Dean of Academics and Research, and Dr. B. Purushottam sir, Director of Admissions, for their continuous support and encouragement in organizing this insightful webinar. I also extend my sincere appreciation to our beloved Dr. R. Chandramurthy sir, Director, EWCM, for his presence, and to all the faculty members, scholars, and students for their enthusiastic participation and engagement. Finally, I extend my gratitude to the technical team, organizing committee, and to all supporting staff for ensuring the smooth conduct of this event. Once again, I thank each and every one of you for being a part of this enlightening session. Let us continue to embrace technology in education and work collectively towards a future where teaching and learning go hand in hand with innovation. Thank you. Good day to all.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, madam.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. This is for the information of the participants. Certificate will be generated after this session completion. The link will be sent to you within few minutes after this function. We expect your continued support for tomorrow's session also, and also for the upcoming our international conference to enrich our treasure of knowledge too. Thank you, everyone.